Hi, friends. In a groundbreaking move, President Donald Trump has unveiled a proposal of gold cards, green cards for high net worth individuals who would like to live in the United States. Join me live when we're going to be discussing this proposal, timeline, what it means, and who may qualify for it under the recent announcement. I will also talk tonight about an important decision by a federal judge from Maryland who temporarily, at least, blocked ICE from enforcing immigration laws at places of worship, and will also share with you some updates with regard to changes in employment immigration. Thank you very much for joining. My name is Alina Shaltsova. I'm a New York immigration lawyer. I've been practicing immigration law for 16 years now. And on my social media channels, I share immigration news, tips, and just maybe sometimes good advice for those of you who would like to hear it. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and share the stream. If you're watching me on TikTok, send your hearts. If you're watching me on YouTube, like and share this. And let's talk about this interesting proposal that was announced today. Basically, President Donald Trump believes that to improve the United States economy and get Americans out of debt, it would be a great idea to sell green cards with pathways to citizenship. And the way he proposes to do that is very simple. If you've got $5 million, you will qualify for a gold card. Think about it like American Black Card, let's say, where you will not have to worry about anything. You just give the United States economy 5 mil and you're going to get the green card. It does say that this announcement that was published in the media, that the people who's going to use these pathways, of course, are going to be vetted by the US government, but it doesn't really mention as other requirements. Currently, what we have in the news is silent about other requirements. However, the announcement does contain information that this gold card proposal is supposed to replace EB-5 program. Currently, in the United States, if you would like to get a green card, there is a way to do so by investing into the United States economy. It's called EB-5 pathway, and it comes with many, many very rigid requirements. And one of the requirements that people find the hardest to meet is not the requirement to find $1 million. Oh no, it's the requirement to prove that the money you are investing into the United States is legit. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this particular proposal. It seems that it will probably not have this particular criteria to qualify for a gold card. Because, as mentioned by the president, even Russian oligarchs will be able to use this way to move to the United States if they choose to do so. I would say that it's a very intriguing, interesting new measure. I only wish that we also had other proposals floating around, something for working class people, like people who serve Americans every day, rather than, again, worrying about oligarchs. But of course, any proposal is welcomed. It says that in about 2 weeks, we're going to know more details as to what exactly this particular program would entail. And at that time, we will know whether or not somebody who is already in the United States and, let's say, is very wealthy will be able to buy their way into a US green card, or it's only for people who never violated terms and conditions of their status, or maybe it's for people who are residing overseas. Is it for somebody who can't truly prove where they got the money from, or is it for everyone? Will they need to show that they're investing this money into a particular enterprise, or they just have to write a $5 million check? I, right now, don't have answers to these questions, and nobody does. But of course, we're going to see. Also, it is unclear what's going to happen with the EB-5 program. What's going to happen to all those pending cases and how they're going to be phased out? It seems that the government believes that EB-5 program, it exists right now, is inefficient. And it's probably so. I would agree. It takes too long to get vetted. The requirements are too rigid. And many countries in the world do offer simpler solutions if you invest money into their economies. However, I'm not really sure how many, but I'm going to submit to you that thousands of EB-5 petitions are in the air right now, are pending. So I only can imagine how terrified are the people who already paid these USCIS fees and are waiting for their green cards based on EB-5 to be considered after this particular announcement saying that the government potentially will be getting rid of this EB-5 program altogether. And again, any reform is a great sign, but what about us, people who don't have $5 million? Currently, unfortunately, there are no talks in a positive key about people who just simply working here, servicing the United States, servicing regular life Americans, essential workers, and so on. Nothing out there except for negative news. For example, Department of Justice announced that they will be enforcing criminal laws in the United States, and the way they will be doing it, they will be focusing on employers and employees. And if they find, for example, that somebody who has been filing for H-1B visa somehow didn't really qualify for it, not only their H-1B petition will be revoked, they will be pressing criminal charges against the employers. They will also be conducting site visits. It's when USCIS comes to the place of work and examines it and determines whether or not conditions for employment are true as they were announced in the H-1B petition. So that's very interesting news. Actually, you need to know that it wasn't even Trump's administration who installed that rule. It was the Biden administration. And they did copy it from the Trump 1.0 proposal a long time ago. But here we are, H-1B petitioners are going to have a harder time having their petitions approved. And now you have to worry about every little thing, because the government, not only they can revoke, as I mentioned, petitions, they can also bring criminal charges against those involved in this process, which is very, very important to understand. You have to prepare your cases absolutely perfectly. All right, very, very important. Now, one last thing I wanted to share with you prior to me answering your guys' questions relates to that interesting decision from Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, regarding ICE enforcement in or at places of worship, where a federal judge stated, at least temporarily, it's not a nationwide injunction, but it's an injunction that is relevant to plaintiffs only. So the judge stated that current administration should not be enforcing without good cause immigration laws at places of worship, as only those several places that were the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, and rather ICE must follow 2021 memo that stated that there are rules as to when you can show up at sensitive locations. However, even though it's an amazing decision by the court, it is not applied to all places of worship nationwide. Again, it applies only in relation to specific plaintiffs, okay? And currently, this is a temporary decision until the case is decided forever, if you wish. And even though there is this injunction in place, what's also going to happen is that if ICE does have a warrant to come to a specific place signed by the judge, they will be able to do so. All right. However, it's a good sign. It means that other places of worship, churches, temples, mosques, may follow and bring the same arguments if they feel that they want to protect their members from ICE enforcements. And of course, the last word would be probably up to the United States Supreme Court once the case is fully developed and heard. This is where we stand with a church decision. I think that we need to know all the details. And now, guys, if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. This is the beginning of the week. And let's see what we have today for our questions. Thank you guys very much for sharing this stream. You help my social media grow when you do, and I'm really, really grateful. Hi, Alex. Thank you very much for your gift. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for following. I have 5 million. Can I get a green card? Hi, Ricardo. Congratulations. You probably will be able to if you're willing to part with your $5 million. It's not enough just to have it. You have to give it to the United States government so the government can cover its debt. That's the plan. Hi, user. At what point can I sue USCIS for I-45 outside processing times for about 6 months now? I think 6 months is nothing in the light of tremendous delays and caseloads. I would say that you need to have at least a couple of years under your belt of waiting before a judge will be serious, will take your claim seriously. There was a lawsuit by a person who was waiting for their asylum interview rather, for 4 years. And you know what happened in court? Judge said it's not long enough. Considering the tremendous caseload that government has, they said it's not long enough. So the person just wasted all their time and money. 6 months is nothing, all right? Yes, the gold card, Ricardo, that's right. It's like upgrade from a green card, right? It's what is it? Premium service, luxury service. That's what we're gonna have in America as well. Hi, Lidisma. I'm currently a DACA holder. I was petitioned under 245I. Can I get adjustment of status? Well, sure. But the way 245I works, guys, so you need to have this bridge. You have to have that petition that qualifies you for 245I. And then you have to have a new petition now that is current. Let's say you find an employer who is willing to petition you and your petition is current, so you can file for adjustment of status. And you use that old petition and invoke 245I exception to the general rule or prohibition on adjustment for somebody who did not maintain lawful immigrant status in the United States since their arrival to get the green card. That's how it works. Okay. Hi, Leila. Can I add my recent tax return transcript to my I-130 green card case? I had just one at the time. Can you add it? Sure, especially if you have filed I-130 online, you should be able to upload it, okay? Upload it to the system. That's how you do it. All right, let me see what else we have for the questions tonight. Hi, DiCaprio. What can you advise if after 3 months of green card interview, no response from them? What should I do? All right, so you have your green card interview, and for the 3 months you're waiting. What would I advise you to do? I would advise you to contact your congressman, right? Contact your congressman. That's what I would advise you to do. All right. Let's see. Let me see. Hi, guys on YouTube. Let me see what questions you have. Thank you very much, guys on TikTok, for your hearts. Hi, Bella. How long does it take for I-601 waiver process? Bella, how did you file it? If you filed it through request for more evidence after USCIS considered I-485, it will be only maybe 30 to 60 days for them to decide it. If it's a different process, if person is going through consular processing, then you may you may be waiting for years. Okay, some people report as long as 4 years it may take. Okay, so it depends on how it came about that you needed to file for it. Hi, Muawiyah. I'm on the deportation, but I'm stateless. What shall I do to become legal? Well, you have to win your asylum case or a U visa case or some sort of a case that gives you status in the United States. How did you enter the United States? Some stateless people had documents to enter and even had visas. So I'm not sure what your situation is, but your options would depend on whether you are in court or not, how you entered the United States, and what your family status is in the United States, and if you ever been a victim of a crime or a victim of trafficking, for example. Okay. Hi, Shigalf. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing good. Hi, Chloe. I have a US citizen with severe special needs. He's 17 years old. Will, and we have cut-off question. Could you please add to it so I'll be able to answer your question? Hi, Murat. Verbally approved 42B 3 years and 10 months ago. I see lots of people got green cards already who was approved after me. Do you think it's normal? Murat, I don't think they got green cards if they were approved after you. Honestly, it's not possible. It takes at least 3.5 years, and now probably even longer, to receive cancellation or removal green card. So I just don't see how they were able to get those green cards in that particular category earlier than you, unless the judge somehow messed it up. Hi, Leo 7. My S360 is approved, but my asylum case is still open in court. Can I file a motion to terminate on my own without a lawyer? What steps should I take? Ali, I will not be able to teach you how to be a lawyer, but all I can tell you that yes, of course, you can try to file a motion to terminate on your own. Will it be granted? I don't know. It depends on what else was in your file. If the government would want to, rather than terminating the case, have adjustment of status hearing. What if they suspect that your asylum case was fraudulent, and then it would prohibit you from adjusting status in the United States? But can you try? Absolutely, you can. You will have to follow Immigration Court Practice Manual. Okay, that's going to be your research point to start. Immigration Court Practice Manual. Okay. Hi, Chloe. Will I be able? My husband gets citizenship when my son turns 21. All right. So your son has special needs, and you would like to know if the son turns 21, can he still petition you? Right? I would say, why not? I don't know of any prohibition in doing so. The only thing is this: will you be able to get green cards? It's not depending only on your son's ability to sponsor you, but also on the manner of your entry and potential inadmissibility bars. Okay, so if you're otherwise admissible, then perhaps you have a good chance. Thank you very much, Z, for your roses online. If they were real, I would have a lot right now. I wish they were real. Hi, Shigal. Case was dismissed in March 2024, filed VAWA November 2024, received prima facie, but yet to receive EAD. Please, when can I expect it? Well, if you file for adjustment of status, right, not just your I-360. If you filed for I-360 requesting the work permit, it will not be issued until and unless VAWA is approved, all right? And that may take 2.5 years. But if you file the whole adjustment package, I would say you should be able to receive your work permit pretty soon, before June, perhaps. Prior to June, you should receive it. It usually takes about 6 months. Hi, Zed. Thank you very much for the roses. Oh my God, 127, 128, 129. That's a lot of roses. That's a lot. Thank you. Do you have a question? Can I help you with anything? Let me see. Let me see if you have a question that, oh my God, that I can answer for you. You let me know, right? You let me know if you have a question, Z, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Hi, Mazin. How long does it take N400 in National Benefits Center? N400 or application for naturalization is one of the fastest to be considered. Usually it takes anywhere from 6 to 11 months. On average, about 3 months ago, they published statistics. It takes only 6.5 months, all right? But how long is it going to take for you? Unfortunately, I do not know. If in the past you had some issues where you had to have a waiver filed, or perhaps you received a green card based on marriage, and now there are discrepancies in your address history, then it may take longer. If the government suspects any issues with your green card process, then they will sit on that application for a long time. What does LGL prefix on asylum receipt means? I'm not sure for sure, but I think it means some sort of location where asylum case is pending, all right? That's probably what it means. All right. Hi, Mini Cabea, ordered deported in absentia. Lawyer filed motion to reopen after 180 days. What's my option? It's been 23 years. Your only option would be motion to reopen sua sponte, unless you're going to qualify for a U visa, I suspect. All right, unless, of course, you would qualify also for motion to reopen that is not subject to filing limitations, such as motion to reopen based on lack of notice. But I think if your lawyer tried something, that argument probably would have been brought already. So it will be sua sponte. Sua sponte. It means that if the immigration court wants to, if they feel bad for you, then they will reopen your case. Typically, a motion like that has to be accompanied by application for relief. Any motion to reopen has to be. And also, it has to be supported by very strong arguments, typically related to some sort of a hardship, extreme hardship to your family members, qualifying family members. Okay. Thank you guys for the gifts. Let me see. Thank you guys for following. Again, don't be shy. Ask your questions. Hi, I'm KS. Is citizenship interview scheduling taking longer? Applied 5 months ago in Boston and no interview. Oh, come on, 5 months is nothing, especially not for this immigration situation. So be patient, you'll be fine. How long does it take to approve I-130 that a US citizen filed for a foreign spouse? Within 11 months, most I-130s will be approved. All right. Sometimes it's longer. If you're from Yemen, it takes years. I can speak about this during every life. If you are from certain countries, it just takes longer. Hi, Ruben. Have got 10-year green card, and am I safe to travel out of the United States for a few weeks? Yes, unless you picked up some criminal arrests. If you picked up some criminal arrests, do not leave the United States, please. When will EB1 be current for India if PD is December 2024? I have no idea, guys. I don't have a crystal ball. I really do not know when anything will be current, especially these days. Something rolled back recently. I forgot what category, but I was looking at it and I'm like, oh my God. So you can try to guess based on the visibility and history, but it doesn't work like month to month. It doesn't move with our timeline. Sometimes the visibility shrinks, sometimes it expands. All right, so it's really like more like a black hole in space. It's really unpredictable. At least I do not know what it depends on. Hi, Blessed. If you file I-45 and I-360 together, how long to get Social Security and work authorization? You should be able to receive them within 6 months, typically. All right, within 6 months, usually. All right. If I marry a US citizen, do I need to live with them? I have a question for you. A sort. If you're marrying somebody, why would you not live with them? And I do not know, maybe you have a good reason not to, but usually USCIS is going to flag your case as potential fraud when they see that you guys had different addresses. Now, interestingly enough, it's not anywhere in the laws that says that you must live together under the same roof with your spouse. But the reality is, if you don't, they typically will not approve your case unless you have super reasonable, super strong explanation, like you must work and reside separately. One of the spouses is studying and they must reside somewhere else because of the university's rules or something like that. But usually they expect you guys to live together. If you cannot show that you commingle funds, you live under the same roof, they'll not approve the case. It just won't. All right. Hi, Cindy. Just passed my citizenship, but I had a misdemeanor case that was dismissed. I received a second interview. Usually you won't receive a second interview if you did everything correctly. You were supposed to attach the certificate of disposition original to your N400 application, and you were supposed to truthfully answer these questions related to the misdemeanor. Now, misdemeanor, you said that it was dismissed also, right? So for immigration purposes, if a conviction was dismissed, if the charges were dismissed, it doesn't necessarily mean that for immigration purposes, you're totally fine. Why? Because if you admit committing a crime, even though in criminal court the charges were dismissed, for immigration purposes, they consider you to be convicted of a crime. So now we need to see, what were the charges pressed against you? What was the resolution? Dismissed. Did they actually punish you? Was it dismissal with some kind of attachment? Did you have to do community service? Did you have to pay a fine? Did you have to go to special classes? Then you did receive punishment. So this administration says that they will be considering cases like this in the strictest way possible, in a very conservative way. The Biden administration was different. In 99% of cases where the charges were dismissed, they would ask you what happened, and after that, they wouldn't bother charging you with, inadmissibility if you truly show that the case was dismissed. This administration says that they will be digging deeper. They will be trying to scratch the surface and see what actually happened, trying to disqualify you from whatever you're filing for, even if your charges were dismissed. So just please work with an attorney, okay? Hi, Muawiyah. Unfortunately, I have been charged with marriage fraud and money laundering as well, and I came in on B1, B2. I'm sorry to hear that. This sounds like very tough charges to beat. Marriage fraud usually is the hardest because it comes with a 204C prohibition on any new petition being approved for you. Usually, if you're charged with marriage fraud, you only hope if you qualify for a U visa or T visa plus a waiver, or if you qualify for a special waiver in court, but it's only available if you are already a conditional green card holder or green card holder, right? But if you've been charged with marriage fraud, typically it's very, very tough case. It depends also on the stage of the case. So sometimes you can beat it, but it's not easy, right? Hi, Nazar, replace DV lottery with gold card. Oh, come on, that's unfair, all right? DV lottery is a way to diversify the United States composition, all right? It gives people a chance. It's almost free. I cannot say it's completely free. It's almost free because you do have to pay $330 if you're chosen for processing fees. But how many people can really afford $5 million? Trump says, well, imagine there is 1 million people. Do you think really 1 million people will file and give the United States $5 million? I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't know. What do I know? I don't have $5 million. How long does it take for an asylum case to close asylum case in court after I-360 approval? It depends on if the judge and the prosecutor would agree to close the case, first of all, and then how fast the judge would work. Usually the judges want to get rid of these cases, okay? It's like within 30 minutes they're going to issue an order closing up your case, usually. But sometimes it takes a long time. Hi, why? They said launch in 2 weeks, or it has to be voted. Trump said they don't need a vote, but I'm not sure. Listen, this administration does what they want to do, okay? They did say they will be announcing it in 2 weeks. I do believe they have to pass it by the Congress, but maybe we're going to see another executive order. I don't know. Will they be able to do it? I truly do not know. I'll be honest. I know one significant, well, two significant, relatively recent. Well, I've been living for a long time, it seems. Relatively recent changes in immigration law that were not done by the Congress. This was DACA, which is being litigated, and I-601A waiver, which I don't think it was litigated. So these are the two major changes. The rest of the changes that the presidents wanted to do, DAPA. Anybody here remembers what DAPA is? Comment. Do you remember what DAPA is? Deferred action for parents of childhood arrivals. I don't know what the second A was standing for. That was shut down from the start. Parole in place. Many of you are still remembering it, right? It was just a couple of months ago. It was also shut down. They said you cannot do it to the president, the Biden president. So I don't know how it's going to work out with this gold card. And until you know how exactly it's going to work out, would you give anybody $5 million? I don't know. Do you think they will return the 5 mil if it's going to not going to go the perfect way? We'll see. You let me know what you think about this, all right? Because we do have something out there which is much cheaper, but it does not lead to a green card by itself or citizenship. It's called Parole for Entrepreneurs, but it's so difficult to qualify for it. It's ridiculous. It really is absurd that rule for parole for entrepreneurs. What Trump perhaps can do is they can modify that parole for entrepreneurs rule, and that may work, okay? But yeah, I think they can do that, all right? But they really have to read what is in the laws already and the regulations and maybe modify them, and then they may have a chance. Hi, Lena. How long does it take EB1A after approval to get green cards? Thank you. Well, Asher, did you file for adjustment of status together with your petition? Then it only takes as long as it takes for I-45 to be processed. If you go to USCIS processing times website, thing, you're going to see that on average, it says it takes USCIS 23 and a half months to process I-45. In reality, it's much faster. usually within a year, you're going to have your decision, okay? Usually within a year. Hi, Malik, I-601A, I-601, still getting approved? Yes, of course. I just got approval. I published it on my social media just a couple weeks ago, it feels like, maybe longer, I don't know. Sometimes I lose track of time, but it was definitely within the months. Hello, I applied for asylum 1st of 2024 and have not heard anything. Can I reapply? 1st of what of 2024, and you have not heard anything. How did you file? Did you file electronically through the website, or did you submit your asylum by mail? If you did it by mail, can you track it? Can you show that it was actually delivered to USCIS? It's extremely important because by now you may be out of that 1-year deadline if you're going to try to refile, right? But if you would like to follow up with USCIS because you never heard back from them, you have to show that you did submit something to them. Sometimes they do lose your stuff. But if you show that you were timely at the time when you filed your case, then you have a chance of getting that receipt issued, and you have a chance of not being held accountable for missing the 1-year deadline. It's very important that you show that you filed within 1 year. Extremely important. Unless, of course, you're trying to argue that one of the exceptions to the 1-year filing deadline should apply to your case. Sometimes it's possible, guys, to win your asylum years after your deadline if you can show change in personal circumstances or if you can show change in country conditions, usually, right? Maybe you had TPS or legal status that expired, so consult with an attorney, right? Hopefully you'll be all right. I filed online and I have the receipt. Well, then everything is fine. Listen, if you filed online and you have the receipt, then you should be okay, all right? Did you have to do your fingerprints? Usually you would have to. All right. Does the progress time on USCIS website make sense? I don't know what to answer. Honestly, I mean, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on your case. Can you hold USCIS accountable if your case is pending beyond processing times? You can surely try. But that requires you to file a lawsuit against them. And what you going to get out of it except for your interview or decision? Most people choose not to do it. Why? Because it's expensive. And if the processing times are such that your case is pending not too much longer after the processing times, you're not going to get anywhere with that. I find that working with your local congressman is way more productive, and also with USCIS ombudsman. But I have to warn you, I have some clients, and many of you too, very impatient. And you're like, I'm going to call the USCIS customer service and I'm going to follow up on my case. And then I'm going to place an inquiry. It's been 2 minutes after the deadline and they don't issue the decision. I just don't like it. There is a danger in doing that. And it's not what you think. It's a danger of USCIS losing your file when you are trying to pressure them and you're trying to follow up with them and you're trying to argue with them that they are too slow. It happens sometimes, and it's a horror show because then you cannot find your file anywhere. What happens, I think, is that they don't do it on purpose to punish you for this increase and stuff, but it's just like when you call them and they're trying to work on your file, they move it around and then they do not know where they put it. They just literally don't. And it's terrible because not even FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, is going to reveal your file. You file for that FOIA when they lose your file and it comes back empty. They're saying, well, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. We lost your file. It happened to one of my clients many years ago, and we were very lucky because we were able to restore the file based on the notices that my office had. And the client was fine eventually. So that worked out great. Now I have a case where I was not the original attorney, and the original attorney doesn't have many documents left from the person's file. And I think it will be not like a big problem, because I think we're gonna do something, about this. But all I want to say is that just be patient. Save every little piece of paper that you have from USCIS, because if they lose your file, they're going to place you in removal proceedings saying that they never granted anything to you, okay? And that's going to become a big problem. So if your case is pending for too long, consult with a lawyer first. If in your situation it is worth it to start bugging them, all right? Unless it's beyond processing time for at least minimum, depending on what you filed for, but I'm not talking about asylum cases, minimum 6 to 12 months, I wouldn't be on their case at all, because it's just not going to get you anywhere, all right? So that's how I see it. And also depends on the situation in general. Right now, if you're from certain countries that the government stated not going to be processing cases from, if you're from that country, they're not going to be processing benefits. Don't touch them, because it's easier for them to deny your case, and they will do that, then deal with you. Just please understand that. All right? So sometimes you have to be careful and thoughtful as to how you approach your immigration case. It may not be something that you really like, but it may be a smart decision in your particular case. Perhaps it's better to have something pending than have something denied and being placed in removal proceedings. You always have to look at the problem not only from where you're coming from, but also from where the other side is coming from, right? Because ultimately you want the approval, and you do not want to jeopardize chances of that approval. Just keep that in mind, okay? Can I go to EB3 while my asylum case is pending? EB3 is an immigrant petition, a petition for immigrant visa. You can file for it at any point. The question is if you can adjust status. If all you have is asylum pending, usually not. You can not, and you will have to finish the process overseas. That's how it works. Now, guys, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my social media channels. We're going to see each other again, hopefully, this coming Friday night, where I will share with you more updates, more news, and will be answering questions. If I did not answer your question today, I apologize. Please come back and just send me a note. Say, Alina, I was here on Tuesday. You didn't answer my question. Can you answer it now out of order? And I'll be happy to do so. So guys, thank you very much. I hope everybody's going to be safe, healthy, and I hope to see you guys soon.